BScat100, and welcome back to some more Miles Edgeworth AAI Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Inherited Turnabout. In the previous episode, we had... I think this was the episode where we filled... That was the episode where we filled our client in on everything? I'm not sure, it's been a couple of weeks since I played this. But I know that we are here investigating the fountain patio because that's the only thing that we can investigate. And we will continue doing that, I guess. So if you'd like to see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends that can join in on this investigation. Let us get moving. Raymond, have you noticed anything about the case?
Lot, actually. Mr. Dover's body was found in Mr. Masters' room. We found the murder weapon. Miss Delicious' castle. Miss Delicious' dessert aren't so dreamy anymore, huh?
Yes, you're right.
And Kit looks sad, too.
I ask you to note, not dote.
Huh? Did I do something wrong?
I'm getting a little worried about your future. Okay. This case was your first investigation, huh, Raymond?
Yes, and I've been taking memos on everything that's happening.
It's been happening. It's truly an inspiration to be investigating with you, Mr. Edgeworth. You aiming to be an attorney?
Yeah, defense attorneys are heroes of justice who help those in need. The moment I saw how amazing Mr. Edgeworth was in court, I decided to be his apprentice.
But detectives also defend people.
But I'm already have my heart set on becoming a defense attorney.
Is that so? Well, good luck then. Perhaps Detective Bad wants an apprentice too? Probably nothing important, but it's interesting. Alright, so we investigated around here, and we're not allowed to touch anything. Where does this elevator go? To the second floor. Master and Hall's quarters. Apparently, on their days off, Master makes candy and holds tea parties upstairs. But if it's a nice day, they probably have it in the gardens or something. That sounds nice. I'd like an invite when the case is over. Would you like to come too, Detective Bad? You're wasting your breath. I don't fraternize with attorneys. Well, okay. Fine, it was worth a shot. Investigation doesn't away. Okay. Anti-authorized personnel? But I guess that means no one can enter. These Von Karma's orders, I can't stand that guy. What does Bad have to say? Because I can't think of anything else to investigate here. What? What do you think about the case, Detective Bad? The police's opinion is the same as Von Karma's, but I don't buy that. The investigation of this patio is also lacking as well. Sorry. I have already talked to the labbies. You can ask them anything you want. I appreciate that. Thank you, Detective Bad. I'm not really doing it for you. I just want an investigation I can approve of. Okay, that's actually helpful. We can talk to the lab assistants. What are you investigating exactly?
Sir, I'm testing the water in the fountain for foreign matter, sir.
Have you found anything? It seems there's both chocolate and sherbet mixed in the fountain water. It matches the chocolate from Jeff Master's room, and the sherbet that melted in Isaac Dover's room. They all share the same composition. Fountain water circulates through the streams that flow through each of the 4 rooms. Perhaps the melted sherbet flowed into the fountain. Also, somebody's blood was detected as well. What are you saying? How could there have been blood in the fountain? Detective Bad, please think back to our investigation of the crime scene. Detective Bad, please look at the crime scene carefully one more time. The bloodstain that should have remained at the crime scene has disappeared. I definitely didn't get reports about the bloodstain being cleaned up. The blood disappeared from the crime scene. Also, part of the treasure chest was missing too. Perhaps the blood in the fountain belongs to this person, Isaac Dover.
Take that!
The victim. Let's run a comparison with the blood on the murder weapon.
Was that supposed to be the test running? I don't get it.
It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Dover's.
I wonder why the criminal's blood, the criminal spilled the victim's blood into the fountain. Oh, that was the final piece. We've gathered information about all the contestants, and yet we still haven't heard Gustavia's side of the story. That reminds me, why did you enter Mr. Dover's room, Mr. Gustavia?
Well, that was because...
Silence, Injurious! You are not to give that attorney the tiniest hint of information! What exactly was in Mr. Dover's room? And moreover, something is odd about his semi-final entry. A pastry chef bad at design, and a sculptor skilled at only designing. It would have been extremely difficult for either of them to win the contest alone. So this is something I have to keep up with. Could it be that Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's connection is... Detective Bad, we have reason to suspect the actions of Dane Gustavia. Yeah. It is imperative that we find a way to contact him at once. This conversation is most interesting. I had a feeling. There's no way Gustavia would be here, and of course it would be Von Karma that would butt into our conversation. However, I cannot allow you to speak with Mr. Gustavia. Von Karma? I have already conducted my interrogation of him. It is not necessary for him to speak any further, especially to a mere defense attorney. But I will answer your questions in that fool's place. It seems Von Karma intends to prevent me from meeting Gustavia in person. I understand. In that case, I have but one thing to ask you. Yes? I would like to know the relationship between Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover. Gustavia and Dover's relationship. It's obvious the only relationship they had was that they happened to participate in the same contest. That's it. There's nothing more to say. But how are we supposed to understand anything for so little? We want Von Karma to divulge the truth. We have no choice but to present evidence. It's all too obvious that he's hiding something. Gustavia and Dover's relationship. It's obvious the only relationship they had was that they happened to participate in the same contest. What are we supposed to present here? Oops. Objection! Prosecutor Von Karma, I'd like you to look at these desserts. The desserts were made... The desserts were made for the contest semifinals. Don't you think that those two have a particularly impressive design? So what are you getting at? These two desserts were made by Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover. I wouldn't exactly call Mr. Gustavia's design skills praiseworthy, and yet for the semifinals he was able to produce something comparable to Mr. Dover's. Furthermore, these two desserts have the exact same flavor. Objection! What are you trying to say? I'm saying it's possible they collaborated with each other on the entries. Miss Prosecutor Von Karma, please take a closer look at the desserts.
At first glance, they may look completely different. But even though the designs are different, it's clear they were made from the same materials. That's right. You can see that very, very clearly. And it even has the same color scheme as well.
Is that so?
The same flavor and composition. It's impossible to dismiss their similarities as coincidence. The very existence of these two desserts points a link between Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover.
Okay. Since you already know this much, I'll tell you the truth.
Did Von Karma know about their collaboration?
However, what I'm about to say is not going to help your case at all. If you want to know about Gustavia's and Dover's connection so badly, I'll tell you. Last night, when I interrogated Gustavia, he told me about his connection with Dover. Until the day before the finals, they worked on their desserts together.
You knew about the cooperation all this time, didn't you? Why would you conceal the truth?
I would appreciate it if you didn't sully my reputation. Until I explain my points in court, I avoid giving away unnecessary detail. I was merely saving you time.
How can you act like this and keep the truth from us? His concealment of the truth is simply something I cannot ignore.
If you want to know about Gustavia so badly, I'll tell you. Last night, when I interrogated Gustavia, he told me his connection with Dover. Until the day before the finals, they worked together on their desserts together.
That doesn't seem right. Hold it! Why do you think Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover collaborated?
Why? Because Gustavia had poor design sense, and Dover was a novice at baking. Without the help of each other, they would never have made it through a single round.
If so, what was their mutual goal? Why cooperate until the finals?
The finals will be fought on our own merits, Gustavia said, and he ended their collaboration. Gustavia's goal was to obtain the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. It seems his pride as a pastry chef won out in the end. Victory in the finals would certainly have been hollow had he cheated.
So he believed that the cooperation only went as far as the semifinals. But what if it really continued through the finals? Prosecutor Von Karma, could you explain their cooperation in a little more detail?
Very well. Why? Because Gustavia had poor design sense and Dover was a novice at baking.
Concerning your statement about Mr. Gustavia's designs, I have no objections to that.
I have no objections either. He's got no sense of style. When I saw him attempting to fashion my likeness with a candy. Just thinking about it disgusts me.
I actually like this candy crafting, though.
A novice pastry chef and one with no sense of design. It's only natural such pathetic specimens would associate with each other. The cooperation lasted only until the semifinals. For the finals, they were on their own.
Dover sherbet was most delicious, but the liar was salty. So that was both of his designs.
Hold it! They cooperated the day before, but not the day itself. That seems highly unnatural, don't you think? Objection! What I'm saying is the only truth. How unnatural it is does not matter. But weren't you unnaturally concealing that very same truth a minute ago? There must have been a reason he hid this fact from us. Mr. Master said Mr. Dover was the favorite to win at the finals. Which means he must have been still cooperating with Mr. Gustavi at the time, right? Yes, that is what I believe. I must have evidence that proves that they still cooperated during the finals. What? Did we see Gustavia's final dessert? I don't know. Contest rules. I'm gonna try it. Okay. Objection. I don't know how. Oh, wait, the liar. The liar was salty. That's where they collaborated. Okay. Alright. You say Mr. Gustavi and Mr. Dover did not collaborate during the finals. That's strange. Alicia testified that Dover's sherbet was most delicious. Being a novice chef, I doubt he could have done that all by himself. Oh, wait, Dover's the one with bad little baking skills. Okay. Perhaps the two of them cooperated during the finals as well. Defense attorney, how many times do I have to tell you? Delicia Scourge's subjective opinion cannot be admitted as evidence. There's still a chance that a novice chef could make something tasty. My wife is an amateur. You are married? I mean, I guess so, because... But... I'm sorry. That just threw me off guard. Yeah, cooking rivals that of the world's class chefs. How is that not of a suggestion? Oh, his face. Moreover, even if you take this pharmacist's testimony to be true, it changes nothing. She also mentioned that part of the sherbet was very salty, which means you can hardly call his entry for the finals perfect. No! What, no more objections? Is there no way I can prove the collaboration? Mr. Edgeworth, there's something that's been bugging me. What is it? The desserts for Mr. Dover made the finals that would have taken a long time to make, right? Indeed, they were frozen sculptures after all. How would he have the time to sculpt it after it was frozen? Let alone help Mr. Gustavi with his designs as well. The way I see it, just waiting for the sherbet to freeze would have used up all his time. Just how was he able to make those sherbet sculptures? Raymond, you have a promising future after all. Thanks to you, I've noticed one more possibility. That's right. Mr. Dover's sherbet needed time to freeze properly, and the contestant's time limit would not have been enough. The method Mr. Dover used to make his sherbet within the time limit was... It was prepared in advance. The sherbet was prepared in advance. All he had to do was sculpt it. What are you mumbling about? Please excuse me. I finally realized. Your earlier view was correct. Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? What are you doing? Oh, so you're finally admitting defeat? No.
All I'm admitting to is the truth of one of your statements. Dover and Gustavia's collaboration lasted only until the day before the finals. It is exactly as you said, they only cooperated until the day before the finals. The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made out of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely be left overnight to freeze, which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before.
Huh. That's right, so you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals.
Then why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return?
The views of the dead are no concern to me.
If you aren't going to answer that, I'll need to get in touch with Mr. Gustavia himself. Or was your interrogation not quite as thorough as you claim?
You ingrate! You dare mock me!
It was not my intention, but I do have a problem with your attitude. I want you to give us a clear reason why we can't speak to Mr. Gustavia in person.
A clear reason. Gustavia and Dover's collaboration has no bearing on this case.
You claim their cooperation is irrelevant. If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned to sour, it could serve as a motive for murder.
You're saying that Gustavia and Dover's collaboration was linked to the motive for the murder? If that were the case, why did he not conceal it? After all, we found out about his collaboration from Gustavia himself. You really are a lawyer. Show us evidence that gives us reason to suspect Gustavia.
Only one of Mr. Gustavia's actions has been suspicious so far. Doubtless Von Karma already knows of this fact. This could be a trap by Von Karma.
What's wrong, defense attorney? Not going to answer?
But I mustn't back down. Mr. Gustavia sneaked into Mr. Dover's room. His reasons for this are currently unclear, but the fact that he secretly entered the victim's room is reason enough to suspect him.
If that's the extent of it, I can dispel those doubts.
I knew it. Was it a trap after all?
I was intending to save this for the courtroom, but I'll make a special exception.
We wouldn't want to prolong the trial with unnecessary information, would we?
Take a closer look at this.
This is
a photo of Gustavia and Dover, and their sons. Gustavia entered Dover's room in order to steal this photo.
Steal the photo?
It seems their sons attended the same elementary school. Apparently, he thought that he'd be suspected if people found out he and Dover were acquainted. Yes, just like you're doing now. There's nothing suspicious about Gustavia's actions. No further room for argument.
No! He's still adamant on not letting us meet with Mr. Gustavia.
I have an investigation to return to. I have no more time to waste on the likes of you. Chris and Von Karma are calling us a waste of time. What should we do?
Mr. Edgeworth, at this rate, Mr. Jeff will be... Von Karma is busy. Of course. Why would he be so busy? Both the body and the murder weapon have been found, and he already has a suspect. Police have more than enough evidence to prove Mr. Master's guilt. If that's the case, then why is Von Karma still investigating the crime scene?
Mr. Edgeworth, is there something wrong?
It seems I have been overlooking a matter of vital importance. Considering that he already has the evidence he needs to convict Mr. Master, I feel that Von Karma isn't as composed as he should be. He didn't even tell Detective Bad the full results of the investigation. Yeah, Von Karma's a bit on edge at the moment. He still hasn't received the autopsy report. That's right. Furthermore, something vanished from the crime scene, and we still don't know why. Detective Bad, please look at the crime scene carefully once more. The bloodstain that should have remained at the crime scene has disappeared. Definitely didn't get reports about the bloodstain being cleaned up. But the strangest thing we found wasn't in Master's room at all.
It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Dover's.
So we know where the blood stain went. Mr. Dover's blood vanished from Mr. Master's room and somehow found its way into the fountain. What does this mean? Logic time! Alright, so blood stain disappeared, blood found in the fountain. That's an easy one. Although the victim's blood wasn't found in Mr. Master's room, it was detected in the water fountain. There would be no need for the killer to conceal the bloodstains after the body was found. It's unnatural only that the bloodstains were found with the body disappeared. Unless the body was moved, the blood would have remained on the chocolate. Don't tell me someone removed the body and erased the bloodstains. Wait, is the body gone? That's why they don't have the autopsy report, because they don't have the body. It's possible that the body was removed from the crime scene, and the autopsy report still has not arrived. Although we have a murder weapon and a suspect, we don't know much about the body. I've been investigating under the assumption that the body had been discovered. Perhaps this assumption was wrong from the very beginning. Why didn't Von Karma give Detective Bad the autopsy report? To understand that, yes, I must turn my logic around. My thinking shouldn't be, why is Von Karma hiding information about the body, but rather, what if Von Karma doesn't even have the information to begin with? What happened if I think of it like that? It's possible that the body wasn't removed by the police for autopsy. It was moved and hidden by the real killer.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I've heard many dark rumors surrounding Von Karma. He's a prosecutor who forges evidence, fabricates testimonies, and makes backroom deals.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But what does that have to do with this? I try to avoid judging others based on rumors, and I didn't let those rumors influence my opinion on Von Karma until today. It seems he's a man who would distort the truth.
Distort the truth?
Shit.
You don't mean forgery?
I do. And I can't allow him to get away with this.
Must return to the prosecutor's office for now. Not a word to that attorney. What do you want, defense attorney?
I want to know the truth that you've been hiding.
Fool, are you trying to mislead the police's investigation again? If you interfere with the investigation anymore, I'll be forced to reprimand you myself.
Police? No, my objection is with you.
What?
Isn't it a prosecutor's job to ensure justice for criminals?
What are you saying? I have no time to debate the job of a prosecutor with you. However, I will tell you one thing. My job is to ensure all those I prosecute are found guilty. Before the perfect proof, there can be no room for doubt. And to find that perfect proof, would you even stoop to forgery? Ha! I was wondering what you were going on about. You intend to accuse me of forgery, don't you?
Yes, and it's for that reason you did not allow Detective Bad to investigate.
What do you mean?
The real reason Detective Bad wasn't investigating was not so he could keep an eye on us. It was to hide the fact that you never found the body.
They never found the body? You cretins, you will cease with these ludicrous accusations. I will not tolerate any further insults.
In that case, let us verify the body. If you do, we will have evidence that shows whether I'm right or not.
Ugh. The burden of proof falls on you, defense attorney. You have no reason to comply. I have no reason to comply with your baseless conjecture.
You must have noticed it too. The lack of bloodstains at the crime scene. So why did the blood vanish? And more importantly, where did it go?
Foolishness. Why would anyone erase just blood from in the chest that contained the body?
Yes, that's exactly right. the body had been found there, the disappearing bloodstains would have been no meaning at all. However, what if the body was already gone? To erase the traces of the body being there, one would have to get rid of the bloodstains as well.
What makes such a fuss over these bloodstains? It seems like a trivial detail to me. Or are you saying that you can show me where those bloodstains went?
In court, everything must be said with evidence. Isn't that right, Von Karma? In that case, I'll show you the evidence supporting my claim. Here we go. The blood found in... Wait. Wanted to make sure. Yes. Take that! There were traces of the victim's blood found in the fountain. Traces of Mr. Master's chocolate were also found in this very fountain. In other words, the blood was washed down the stream which flowed into the fountain. All of this points to one possibility. After the body was removed, someone erased the bloodstains. Von Karma, where was the body really found? If you really found the body, you should be able to answer.
How do you know this information? How do you know the results of the water composition test on the fountain?
Because I allowed them to investigate.
Bad! I was always a thorn in my side. From here on out, I will not allow you to associate any further with this case.
It's not like you were letting me do much anyway. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Or are you admitting to the fact that you didn't find the body after all?
You say I never found the body. Where's your evidence?
He's never going to confess.
I have nothing further to say to you, Gregory Edgeworth. This matter will be decided in court. We'll see just how well your logic holds up there.
Von Karma, I know your methods are wrong. I promise, without fail, I will expose the truth you've hidden. Take to bed. I'm sorry. It's because you let me investigate that. No, this is bound to happen sooner or later. This is also the first time I've been restricted in my investigation. Your theory that they never found the body sounds pretty close to the mark. That I will make clear in court. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Even though I'm no longer in charge of this case. Then, I'm very sorry about this. I have one more favor to ask of you.
Hey, what are you guys whispering about? I want to know too.
This will be my trump card in court. The information I've gathered up until now should be enough to prove Mr. Master's innocence. But if all else fails, I'll have this ready.
Your trump card?
You'll see at the trial.
Wow, I get to be at the trial too?
Of course. You are my assistant after all.
I'll be an ace attorney too next year. But Karma will never beat the two of us.
Right. Although I hope to clear Mr. Master's name before you become a lawyer. Oops. If Von Karma is to be my opponent, he'll want the trial ended in a day.
That's right. We'll have to save Mr. Master Jeff as fast as we can. After all, this is you we're talking about. I'm sure you'll beat Von Karma.
Jeff Master, alone in a dark cell, arrested on false charges. I must expose Von Karma's lies if I'm to save him. Unfortunately, this is the only case that we get to play as Gregory Edgeworth, and we're at the end of the road here. We're coming up on the end of the case. We're back to the present day, and we're going to solve everything within the next couple episodes, I'm sure. So, we're going to end it off here. In the next episode of Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, The Inherited Turnabout, it's time to find out what's going on with the body in the fountain, because I believe that's where we left off. So, I will see you guys later.